It's disabled? Okay. It's just. It's going.
The girls and the boys were dancing with their own kind of flair. And Ziggy lit the fire with one hell of a show. The stars came out for a colossal affair. Oh, it's crazy to think I used to be in the dark. My history was all kind of big. Well, I guess it took the Black Bottom Saints, oh, to learn about the joy and the pain. So why don't we get ourselves a drink at the bar? Raise a glass and just celebrate the glory of the Black Bottom Saints. Oh, the stories of the Black Bottom Saints. Oh, the glory of the Black Bottom Saints. I want me to remember their names. I said, I hope that you remember their names.
And speaker view. And now it's gonna be. Mhm.
Well, welcome everybody. We're back again with our Black Bottom Saints. This time, this is our holiday party, and we're Source Booksellers bringing you a new extravaganza with Alice Randall, and excuse me, and the Black Bottom Saints book, and lots of things coming up this evening. We also want to thank Rochelle Riley for being with us as well this evening, and just sit back, relax, enjoy the Christmas party, for the holiday party of Black Bottom Saints. We'll be talking about the Winter Saints this time. So Alice? Hi, Alice.
Hey, how are you? It's
And
so
Rochelle is coming in too.
It's just.
hello, I'm right here. How are you?
Hi, Rochelle. Thank you for being there this evening.
I'm always thrilled to be with you, Janet.
Right, right. What fun. I'm just all relaxed thinking about a lovely non-alcoholic drink. For me.
Well, I will lift this in a toast to Rochelle Riley, the great art czar of Detroit. This is a non-alcoholic drink. It is a peppermint tea with a cinnamon rim and cloves. It is as strong and powerful as Rochelle Riley herself, which is
All
saying.
right.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Rochelle, you have some words for us?
Yes, before the party starts, before we get the party started, I can tell you that this is launching a long celebration of Black Bottom Saints. I am proud to announce that Black Bottom Saints, this phenomenal book that we are celebrating tonight, has been named one of only 4 books that the Wall Street Journal chose as the 4 best American books for December 2020. And National Public Radio has named it one of the best books of all of 2020. What does that mean locally? We will be celebrating Black Bottom Saints in a big way in 2021. Mayor Mike Duggan is going to recommend it for a citywide read in January, and it will be the launch event for the city of Detroit's entire Black History Month celebration. The mayor himself will interview Ms. Randall in a special ACE stage event on February 1st. So mark your calendars. We cannot wait.
Thank you, Rochelle. There she is.
Coming back to Detroit for that event, February 1, is the highest honor Black Bottom Saints could have. And I am so thrilled, and I know it would not have happened without the support from the very beginning of Janet and Allison and this amazing leadership that you provide, Rochelle, to the city of Detroit for putting art first. So thank you so much. Nothing could mean more to me.
We cannot wait. We're so proud of you, and I look forward to it. Now I want to hear more about the drinks at the holiday.
Thank you, Rochelle.
You have a lot of things to do. So we want, Rochelle, you need to go and keep saving America via Detroit. And we'll see you February 1.
See you in February.
Thank you, Rochelle. Okay. Well, here we are. Winter is almost here. We're in a sort of a fall winter time period. This is the end of fall, and soon on the 21st of December, winter will be officially here. It will be the shortest day of the year. So we have to prepare for all of that. That's a time when we all like to sort of snuggle down and cuddle in, and nothing better than a book and a lovely drink. So let's talk about these saints of winter, Alice. And as I look at this list, it's a big list and so many prominent people there. How do you want to start? Do you want to tell us all about them, or pick one or two, or how should we go?
Well, first, I love to, Janet, thank you for having me back for this holiday. I'm thrilled to be kicking off my holiday with you. I think first I want to just flash through the cards. We're going to come back to the very first saint of winter is Josette Johnson. She is his fictive Ziggy's daughter. We got Lloyd George Richards here, who starts off as a shoeshine boy, will become dean of the Yale School of Drama. We've got Ruth Charlotte Ellis, one of my personal heroes. We've got all the breadwinners working in the factories, making the money. We've got Harold Killerman Johnson, fight manager. He didn't kill anybody. He was an amazing sports person. Lawrence Massey, the great lawyer. Bob Bennett, the great doctor. Lucille Ellis, who danced with Katherine Dunham. Nellie Hill Trapp, one of the stars of the Black cinema, who ended up living in Detroit as an MC. Skipper Mills and the Mills Brothers. Sammy Davis Jr., very important for our Christmas season. Nat King Cole, we'll get to him, but I've got to go to my favorite saint of Christmas every winter, but this year more than any year, Lynette Dobbins Taylor. Last time we were together, August 8th in September kicking off, we said we hope that the way Lynette Dobbins Taylor led Lyndon Johnson to the White House, Kamala Harris would lead Biden. And the women and the people of Detroit put Michigan on their backs and turned America into a better direction. And so I am thrilled to be celebrating Detroit, the children, the grandchildren of Black Bottom, and the saint of winter that helped bring us through, Lynette Dobbins Taylor.
Great. So Alice, say a little bit about the quality of the winter saints of Black Bottom. This is, I have to just say, this is an exciting book, and it's an exciting concept. And it's one that really brings so many parts of Detroit together and so many parts of our life experiences in Detroit, and especially those people who have been in the city for a long time or have come and gone, left and come back to the city. So I just feel very pleased that we're involved in this. I call it the multimedia extravaganza, Alice Randall, Black Bottom Saints Lady.
But I think Source Booksellers is actually an act of wonderful mother-daughter performance art collaboration with an entire city and a national community. You were doing this 30 years ago, and I'm thrilled to be part of the current history.
Going. Tell us about the characteristics and the contributions of our winter saints.
The winter saints are my favorite saints. They are the saints that are geniuses of resilience. They are the geniuses that if you can get over something when the deck is 100% stacked against you, they are the ones who have the strategy. They are the ones who will cheer you on. They are the ones who make that miracle happen. The saints of fall are some of the ones who have the hardest things happen to them, and they underscore that individual excellence can't overcome structural obstacles of racism. The saints of summer were the roots of the Black experience. But when we get into the wintertime, when these days are short and the nights are long, I'm giving you the pure geniuses of Black resilience. And nobody does that better than Detroit with its chin up swagger, than the breadwinners who are working on the assembly lines and working in the hairdresser salons and the mortuaries and the doctors and lawyers, every end, and the ones who were working in the numbers and the ones who are working every end of the amazing city that was Caramel Camelot, Black Bottom.
I'm so glad to see Sammy Davis Jr. in the Black Bottom Saints, because we don't always remember all the things that have happened along the way. But Sammy Davis was a long-term friend of Detroit, and he spent so much time here, not always known, but he contributed to the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner many times, and the kinds of resources that he put into Detroit. We don't always remember those things, but it's such a pleasure to see him as one of the winter saints, because he was an extremely resilient person. Say some more about Sammy Davis.
Thank you for asking me about Sammy Davis. One, he loved to stay at the Gotham Hotel, which he was also a member of the Detroit Shutterbug Club, which was actually a photographers club of Black photographers. He was actively involved in the Detroit Shutterbugs. He also liked to perform in plays here, but more importantly, when he launched his own first autobiography, Yes, I Can, he chose to have his kickoff event in Detroit City. He loved working with that all Black Detroit audience. He loved Detroit. He treasured it. One of the things that we celebrate in Black Bottom Saints about Sammy is he had two daddies, his father and Will Matson. It was called his uncle, but basically he was raised by two amazing men. And one of the things that he did that people also don't know, aside from writing his own autobiography, is he really called out racism in the military. And that was something that Detroit leaders were known for, male leaders. Mark Stepp will do some of the same things, but Sammy Davis, and in his book, Yes, I Can, he really was one of the first to call out racism in the military. And he was a person who was able to eclipse that.
Yes.
He eclipsed so many things that were up against him, and he created Golden Boy. He wasn't just a singer, he was an amazing photographer, and he also was a wonderful actor.
Yes, yes. Sammy Davis. I just want to raise his name up because, things get lost along the way. We tend to think that what happened in the past is already known, or we see pieces and parts of it, but it's so good to see his name here. Another person I'd like you to talk a little bit about is Ruth Charlotte Ellis.
Well, I love Ruth Charlotte Ellis. She is intimidatingly amazing because she basically, when people didn't even know that it wasn't commonly known and acknowledged that we needed community resources for gay and lesbian youth, Ruth Charlotte Ellis was in the 1930s and 40s, was creating this out of her own home that she shared with her beloved babe, and providing resources, emotional and material, to young people in the community. And she was fortunate that she early knew she was gay, and she was out from the very beginning, and her parents totally supported her. And we're talking about in the 19-teens and 20s. One of the things I celebrate in this book is Black gay life in Detroit and nationally and globally, not just as part of the entertainment world, but Ruth Charlotte Ellis was a journeywoman printer. She had a print shop that printed business cards and all kinds of things for everyday blue collar businesses. And she took the money that she made in that, and then she put it back into the community. She lived to be almost 100 years old. And I'm so thrilled that in Detroit today, there is an actual community center
Ruth Ellis House. Yes, yes.
named for her.
In so many ways, I think, I'm not sure of this, but I think Detroit was very much a forerunner in the support and understanding of the gay community. I'm not saying we were in any way perfect, but there was certainly that forerunning part, and Ruth Ellis was a major factor in that. Let's turn to Lloyd Richards, and I have to tell you a little story.
Yeah.
I grew up on what we call now the near West Side, on Tireman, Epworth, Buchanan, and West Grand Boulevard, and around in that area. And Lloyd's family grew up there too. His mother and my mother were friends, and we all attended the same church.
So it was an Episcopal church.
St. Cyprian's Episcopal Church, right.
Yes, he grew up in
28th Street.
well, I am an immense fan. Of course, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was about to be out in the world, and he was one of the people who actually discovered August Wilson. He started off by directing Raisin in the Sun on Broadway, but he would go on to just really help discover August Wilson, to produce some of his plays, direct some of his plays, and really help bring us August Wilson to the world. And I say that he appreciated what he called his barbershop language, because Lloyd George Richards himself had sounded off as a shoe shine boy in a barbershop. So he had learned, but he also had that Episcopal church language. So that got him all the way up to Yale. Yeah. And I love, because he had a lot of things. His daddy died when he was really young. Mm-hmm. His mother was working as a domestic worker and then lost her sight. He had, and so this is like these saints of winter. Lloyd George transcended all of that to get, and used all of it. He didn't just transcend it. He rose on those exact winds, adored his mother, adored his father, and it took him all the way to Yale. And when he got to Yale, he's working with people like Meryl Streep and all that, but he is also making a space for all these Black playwrights and actors. He's lifting, as he climbs. So I'm fascinated by Lloyd George.
I certainly think that Lloyd and many others as well who grew up on the Near West Side, it was a very strong and progressive and politically savvy community, and very rooted in the multiple church congregations that were in that area. Anybody in Detroit who really knows about the Old West Side would know that he really brought from here all of the things that he had acquired through his family and through the community and through the neighborhood and the schools and churches to Yale. So I think Yale was the beneficiary of him and his work. And of course, we're all very proud of him and what he was able to do.
And I love when you mentioned earlier also the Freedom Fund dinner, the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. And we have to also remember that in these years that we're speaking, the 50s, the early 60s, that Detroit is a leader in this. And that Massey, who was one of the saints of Winter, was one of the people. And that when Nat King Cole, who could have gotten his lifetime membership in the NAACP in any city in this country, when Nat King Cole became a lifetime member of the NAACP, he chose to do it in Detroit. Yes. And we need to stop and say, because there is no better song ever than Nat King Cole's Christmas song. And we're going to be getting to this eventually today. But when you are talking about celebrating Christmas Ziggy style, the first thing you need to do, I'm going to bring that, is Ziggy style and Nat King Cole. This is a wonderful hot drink called Baby Needs New Shoes. And it's got some brown liquor in it. My first drink had no liquor, but if Ziggy was doing it, Lawrence Massey, and that all in honor of those old Freedom Fund dinners and all the money Detroit sent down to Alabama, down to Mississippi to fund the civil rights movement, to fund going to the Supreme Court. All the breadwinners, the everyday folk working on the assembly lines who sent and spent money at those NAACP dinners in Detroit.
And along with the dinner, we also had very well known and well recognized physicians who participated. I see you have Dr. Bennett, Dr. Robert Bennett. And there were many others whose names we could call, but maybe not in the Winter Saints, but who came together to pull that event together and to raise money for the purposes that you're talking about. So I'm just proud of Detroit. I'm a Detroiter, but I'm also very proud of Detroit.
Black doctors, I must shout out, because Ziggy, the whole book, and he's going to celebrate Christmas in his hospital room at Kerwood Hospital. Detroit had more per capita Black hospitals than any other city, we believe, in the world, of Black-owned hospitals. And
the idea was to have community hospitals. So we're back to talking about that again. We're finding out that the large ones don't always serve the smaller communities. So yes, we had many Black hospitals, and the idea was to serve the community, the people around that area where they didn't have to go so far. As we're learning now in many parts of the country where hospitals are not available to people during this pandemic time. So again, Detroit was very much a forerunner in that area.
And right now, the whole country is looking back at Detroit and recognizing how important Detroit is. But this is not, the recognition has been a long time coming. Detroit has been a center of American freedom, of America at its best, not Black America at its best, America at its best, and Black America at its best. That is Detroit.
Say another one of your favorite Winter Saints.
Ooh, I have to say, and I would love to, if I could take this as a moment to do this, Josette Johnson herself. She's a fictional character, but I'm sending her out right now to your daughter, Allison, to my daughter, Caroline, who's going to come in for a moment, for every daughter on this Zoom, every daughter of Detroit, every Black daughter, and all the daughters and granddaughters who went out and voted by mail in lines. And I want to read this can I read a tiny little bit from this?
Yes, please.
Ziggy talking about his daughter, Josette. We always spent Christmas together, and we would always waltz. We started the tradition when she would stand on my feet as we danced. We would sing our Christmas waltz as we twirled. I wrote the melody and the original words. Over the years, she changed some of the words, but left the notes. We would cook Michigan chestnuts and sweet potatoes and eat turkey and dressing, and I would drink White Russians. When she got old enough, we both drank White Russians. It would be Christmas even before the gifts. For her, a bottle, first a fancy bubble bath, eventually a bottle of our page. Eventually there were presents for her children in an envelope with $100 bill, always wrapped with instructions to spend it only on herself, only for fun. One year I gave her a rhinestone wreath pin signed by Eisenberg. Every year we go midnight mass with the Natchez Bell and the uncles, and after they were born, the grandbabies. We would spend Christmas Eve day playing our favorite records of the year and debating which song should be declared Joe and Josette's best song of the year. After 1946, we chose our official song of the year, and we would always play our song of the year, Nat's Christmas song, our always song of the year. There will always be Christmas and the Christmas song by Nat King Cole and White Christmas by Bing. That's how I opened the column December 25th, 1965, the Christmas song. That's Sepia America's Christmas Carol.
All right.
And Ziggy goes on to say how he opened the dancing school. His second favorite day of the year, first favorite was, of course, Father's Day, was Christmas party day at the dance school. So, and he ends that one with a wonderful cocktail called Baby Needs New Shoes, libation for the feast day of Josette Johnson. It's got bourbon, rye, sugar cube, lemon, nutmeg, and hot water. And I think at some point before we're off today, we've got some wonderful folks from Detroit. They're going to show your visitors how to make that drink.
Okay. Good drink. Are we going to bring your daughter in?
Well, we're getting that on. She's coming. She's coming on at 5:30, so she's
Okay,
right.
very good.
Okay. I'm just gonna go like this. Unmute and share my video, or don't share my video. Yes, share my video.
No, you're screen sharing, so
Okay.
and then you can just maximize the window. And press play.
Today, we're bringing you a cocktail called Baby Needs New Shoes. So the first thing that we're going to start with is 1 sugar cube. We're going to put that right in the bottom of our heat safe little mug here. So then once we got that in there, we're going to take just a splash of hot water. Not too much just yet. And then we're going to take our muddler and we're just going to crush this up.
What?
Try to get everything incorporated as best as you can.
Okay, let's try that again. I think you shared the wrong.
I shared the wrong video.
Yeah. Is it that one?
That's not it. That's it.
Yeah, but let's
That's
just
it.
share desktop. Which one?
That's it. It'll share whatever's on there.
Yep. Okay, let's try that
There it
again.
is.
Sorry about that. I'll try that again.
Today, we're bringing you a cocktail called Baby Needs New Shoes. So the first thing that we're going to start with is 1 sugar cube. We're going to put that right in the bottom of our heat safe little mug here. So then once we got that in there, we're going to take just a splash of hot water. Not too much just yet. And then we're going to take our muddler and we're just going to crush this up. Try to get everything incorporated as best as you can. Okay. So then we're going to take 1 pony of our rye. Pony is 1 ounce. Dump that right into the cup. And we have 1 pony of our bourbon. The pony is 1 ounce. I'm going to dump that right into the cup. And then we are going to top with the rest of, or a little bit more hot water to fill it up nice and fill it up. And then we're going to take a lemon. Just going to pull a little bit of zest. Not much, just want a cute little strip. And then what you want to do is put the skin side down, squeeze the sides, and express the oils right into the glass. You should see a little burst of fluid come out into the drink. You just dump that right in there. And then, just for a little spice, we're going to take just a tiny bit of ground nutmeg and just toss a little bit on top. Not too much. Don't want it to be too spicy. There you have it. Baby Needs New Shoes.
All right. Yes, that's what the baby needs new shoes was a motto by many people who were in the Detroit scene, and they were hoping for more income.
It means that go back, you better go work hard. We got to go work hard. But I think our daughter Caroline is in the waiting room trying to get in. So let's add her too. Since baby needs new shows, we'll have our daughters in here with us now.
Right.
Let's see.
So I love the Double Strain Collective who presented that video, that cocktail. You see how simple those are. While you're getting Caroline in, let me give you a couple little more cocktail tips for our visitors since we said this. One of the things I like to do is get all my orange peels ready from the outside. So this is enough that will keep me full until January 1st. And here's some of my lemons. And so get these already in advance so that when you want to make a quick cocktail, you just pull out your oranges and lemons, and then you can use the fruit from the interior of that to add to some hot tea if you want something without spirits. And if you want something with spirits, you can make with that fruit a mulled wine with the interior, with red wine.
Well, my regular drink almost every morning is hot lemon water. And I have lemon all the time. So I don't have the spirits part, but I do have the, so I have to save my rinds a little bit more. I'll remember to do that. Hi, Carolyn.
Welcome.
Is she on?
Hi, thank you all so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here to celebrate Black Bottom Saints with you all.
Yes, and mothers and daughters.
Yes, and mother-daughter love and joy. That's right.
Carolina, Allison and Janet, I'm so thrilled that they wanted you on originally because that they were going to have Soul Food Love, and we're going to talk about, we're cooking a lot right now together through the holidays, you and I on our COVID lockdown together, but they're all sold out of Soul Food Love. So
I know everywhere it's gone. I was trying to give it as a present to somebody. We can't even get copies of our own book right now.
Like, what's your favorite holiday recipe from Soul Food Love that we should be telling people?
Yeah.
Oh, my easily, I have two. One is the absolute easiest one, which we will be having this year, come hell or high water, even during these times, is the chocolate communion, which is the easiest thing in the world. Good chocolate, good bourbon on your best tray, offer it around to everybody. And then my other favorite one is probably our poached pears, which we do in the red wine with the spices. And because it conjures dear, your grandmother, and I love, and her dress box apples. And it makes the house smell like Christmas because the mulling spices from the wine, it's just the right holiday spirit. And they're so beautiful. And they're good for breakfast cold too. So they're a beautiful dish, and they keep for really days before and after the holiday. So, and maybe the breakfast casserole too, so that we have that to eat on.
Did you mention deer? I'd actually love to, my grandmother lived at 2727 Hazelwood. So in the, that area, and she came up from Alabama. And one of the things I loved from my childhood in Detroit, I was born in Detroit in 59, is that when people look back, what I remember most is her rose garden. She had this amazing garden on Hazelwood. And another thing her husband actually did most of the cooking. When you read Soul Food Love, you can hear about that. It was a radical act for him because he felt so many Black women had been made to work in kitchens. He always liked, though he had a business, to cook for her and keep her out of the kitchen. But every so often,
Mom, we lost your audio, I think, somehow.
Every so often, she would make something called dress box apples. And she would peel these apples and boil them, poach them in sugar water and colors, bright blue. They look like something out of a fairy tale. And she would make me an entire dress box full of it. And that was, to me, amazing performance art extravaganza. She was creating food art when people weren't talking about it. She wanted something that just shocked me and surprised me, not found in nature. And I love that to this day. And our pears are bright purple, but they remind me of Deere's dress box apples and of all the art that Black people were making in Detroit that people didn't recognize as expressive arts, from a cocktail to a poached apple.
For those who might not know, tell us what a dress box is.
Back in the old days, when you went shopping in the department store, where they would let you get your dresses in a beautiful box, like it'd be about this size, and it'd be all folded up in the tissue paper. It wasn't coming out on a hanger. And and she would save those dress boxes, and she would fill up a whole one of those. So it would be about 20 apples. And the nice thing about dress box apples and our jug pears is once you poach them in water and sugar water like that, they'll last for a month, 6 weeks. So plenty of time to share them with everybody.
Right. Some people may remember hat boxes. So dress boxes were a compliment to that. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Caroline, as you all know, was not born in Detroit. She was born in Nashville. And I moved from one river town, Motown, to Music City. And I've been very proud this year, aside from we did Soul Food Love together, and we did The Diary of B.B. Bright, but she's really shown herself to be a granddaughter and a daughter of Black Bottom and of Detroit by taking over Storm in the New York Times with this article. I don't know how Confederate, you have to have her back when she has her big book out, but about Confederate monuments in her body. But she proved herself to be a Detroit granddaughter with that. So I was very proud of her.
That's the fearless part, right? Right. So thank you, Carolyn. I wanted to say a word about that article. It was magnificent. And we get people, we manage the Sunday Times on Sunday only. We only have that at the store. And people did comment on it who had gotten the paper and came back. So I felt very proud of that. And your message was absolutely awesome and stunning and right on. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Caroline's teaching this semester as an I, and she actually is finishing up her, I finished my last day, Wednesday. So she, I think, has Monday and Tuesday. So I thank you so much for interrupting your time with your students and your grading to come in. And I hope you're getting our Christmas dinner ready, baby.
I will. And I'm wearing my Christmas pin that you got me.
Oh!
You can't see it because my scarf is so busy. I promised you I would, so I did.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't give him Ziggy gave his daughter a pen in the novel. So I decided last year for Christmas that Caroline needed to get one of those pens. So she's got an Eisenberg pen too now. So
Very
my
good.
Ziggy daughter love, the daughter legacy from the book. Love you guys. Love you, Mama. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your space with me this evening.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. Well, I do want to let everyone know that the cookbook will return. And you'll find it on our website, Source Booksellers Online. We're very excited about Black Bottom Saints, about the cookbook, and really all of your writing and work.
well, thank you. Well, I'm excited about books and conversations because one of the things we've really learned throughout this last few months that joy is radical. We're celebrating that, but also, thinking, reading matters. That it's when we say that Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter, and we need to say that and say her name. We strengthen all of that by reading and thinking and knowing and being able, to talk about our history and what we accomplished and reclaim it and claim what we're building on and say that we are the people. We are people who know what democracy is. Right. We are the people who suffered and created democracy. We are the highest American ideals. Detroit has led the way, and Detroit is leading the way. And when I say Detroit here, I'm talking about Black Detroit and leading the way.
I really like your approach to things, Alice, because I heard someone say once, one of the best ways to resist is to live well. I think that is what you are telling us in this book, that living well, enjoying life, not allowing the narrative that we are downtrodden and totally oppressed and abused, although we have plenty of examples of that, but to live well, not above, but just to live well and to live with joy. So I want you to say a word about your From Something to Joy.
Well, joy is radical is one of the most important sentences in the entire novel. Love is the strut, and hate is the stumble is my other most favorite words in the novel. Those all come from Ziggy, and they come from characters like Laverne Baker. They come from Eartha Kitt. They come from all these saints who, of course, were actually literally, all of them experienced some kind of abuse, because literally how they became a saint in this book is that they are people whose lives move from trauma to transcendence.
That's what I was trying to get to, the trauma at this transcendence.
But we are going to focus in the transcendence and the power, the eclipsing. It doesn't mean that what these people did against them or us or me is not awful. It doesn't minimize the evil done. It maximizes our appreciation of the genius of the joy achieved despite. It doesn't always happen. It's not, but it does happen. As Ziggy says, he was around Black girls who made miracles every day. and inspired by women and men who have made miracles before them. And joy, that joy of loving yourself, liking yourself, finding some kind of connection. Alice Walker also talks about this in The Color Purple. She's a little girl being raped in her own home, and she finds joy in the color purple. Joy is radical. I got to be on a Zoom with Angela Davis, and we talked about Laverne Baker, Bessie Smith. This is something that Bessie Smith knew. This is when she actually, my new theme song is Nashville Women Blues. And she says, those Nashville women, the way they strut, it ain't no bluff. Now, if it ain't no bluff about the Nashville women, I say, but it's even more profound, the Detroit women, because there is all of this extraordinary art, music art, visual art. Can I brag on one little cute thing? Can I stop and the joy? She's not a saint of winter, but the biggest joy of my winter right now has been that Artist Lane, who is a living saint, the last Black Bottom saint to actually be alive, called me. She and her daughter called me, and they said that they read the book and it was just like that. That Ziggy had been at her wedding. I want to do something with you and Artist in February or March. But it was so exciting that Artist Lane, this joy of life, that these paintings that Artist Lane was putting into the world, into the Gotham Hotel in the early 60s. That is a triumph. You can knock the Gotham Hotel down. I've never seen those paintings, and I know each one because I've interviewed and talked to people who were touched by those paintings. Well, actually, I have seen them as a little girl. I did get to see them as a little girl, but I can barely remember them. But those paintings, the fact that she painted has been with me every day of my life.
Those are the kind of voices that ring in Detroit. We don't always know that that's what we're hearing, but that's a voice that rings in Detroit and many others too, because it's on those accomplishments that they made or just the work that they did that all of us are standing. And we can name so many people who maybe not in the headlines, but who are still creating this environment for us to triumph, as you say, and to transcend and go beyond just what's offered to us.
Nellie Hill Trapp, I want you to remember her because she lived a long life in Detroit. And she had been an amazing star of Black cinema. People forget that we had these all Black movies. And then she was an MC living a relatively, to some degree, smaller life, but she's an extraordinary woman. She's an extraordinary woman, an extraordinary beauty, an extraordinary, and when I mean beautiful, I mean inside and out, a person who kept imagining she wanted to be, not living what somebody else told her to be. That is the art of life, and it is practiced with great vividness in Detroit.
Well, this is one of the things that I've been trying to say lately as I've asked that what we must do with our COVID life is that we have to imagine the life that we want to lead now. And as a result of this, the lockdowns and all the things that we're experiencing, it gives us time to think and imagine how we want to live now, what we want to do, how we can be a benefit to our communities and to the people around us, and then a benefit to ourselves so that we don't spend time moaning and groaning and wishing for something other. Someone said to me once, and I use it all the time, take what you have and make what you want. And the question is, you got to figure out what you want. And most of the time you have what you need to make what you want. That's not to say that there aren't people who are really needing more of everything. I believe in universal basic income. I think everybody should have something coming in from somewhere, not just from their work, but from the government or somewhere every day. Why not? We do it with our veterans, we do it with older people, we do it with people with have disabilities. Why not that great vast of people in the middle? So that's my little thing that I like to talk about.
I think it's a great thing to be talking about. And I do think that we do need to make this world a better place. And we need to make this country a better place right now. But while we're waiting for it and working for it to be better, we have our personal revolutions of joy.
Yes, exactly.
That our personal connections of joy, we don't have to wait on anybody.
That's right.
We experience slavery is 100% wrong, and some of us experience joy in the midst of that and connection in the midst of it. It's 100% wrong. But that's what we celebrate when we celebrate Anne Frank. What was done to Anne Frank was 100% wrong. That she found some joy in her own humanity in the midst of it is her amazingness. We all got to claim these human connections. And I think this, in lockdown that continues for many of us and will for many months, these opportunities to virtually connect, opportunities to read, opportunities to draw, because it's music and art. I want to remind you, we have a great Spotify playlist on the www Black Bottom Saints website. Go on there. You can hear those things for free. You go on there. It's Christmas. Christmas can be hard right now in COVID. On the Alice Randall side or Black Bottom Saints, we've got my best chapter, the Dinah Washington Night Train chapter. It's up there for free. Take that, print it up on your computer and give that to someone as a Christmas present if you need to or want to. That we've got to enjoy life right now and realize that there are a lot of virtual assets that we wouldn't have had without COVID. And there's certainly so much trauma. And we can't forget that 1 in every 1,000 African Americans has died in this. We've got to stay strong, which often right now means staying home if we can. We've got to advocate for all of our people who are having to be frontline workers, and by not just medical, but sometimes that may be in stores or servers. We got to advocate for them to have those shots first too. We got to figure out how to get some equity on that. But right now, we do have a right to take care of ourselves and to just celebrate. And Detroit has to celebrate saving the country. I just cannot. I will say hallelujah, hallelujah, sober hallelujah, libation hallelujah. It is literal hallelujah.
Yes.
And I think that I want to note that the national press didn't notice so much stroll to the polls. All the Black fraternities and sororities organizing. They didn't notice souls to the polls. All the Black churches organizing. But the people noticed, and 85% of eligible Black women in Detroit to vote voted. And there's never been, that is a record. That is democracy and embodied.
And
that is to celebrate.
It's so wonderful, Alice, that you are able to bring this to us through the Black Bottom Saints effort and book to remind us that really this is what we do. That
Black Bottom Detroit has been doing this for a long time.
Yes,
These are the roots. This is the reality.
Yes. When I meet with people who say, we've got to get together, I say, well, we are together. We really are. Now figure out where you are in all that togetherness, because we've come together many times. I can remember years and years ago, in terms of voting, there was a little house on our community park that was just kitty corner away from where we lived, because Detroit has always had these little neighborhood parks all over the city. And the voting house was over there. It was a little greenhouse. And guess what? We all marched up there. The children with the parents going, And so working together, knowing through our leadership sometimes who to vote for even, and then to have family conversations, and then making decisions with what the family would do. So this is wonderful to bring this up now and to look backwards so that we know how to go forward.
That Sankofa moment, looking back to go forward. And another one, I only want to say 1 minute on this in the holiday period. Detroit and Black Detroit, but all knew also about early vaccinations.
Yes.
Ziggy talks about polio in the book in many chapters, because in his world and in the world Black Detroit then in the 50s and in the dancers' world, polio could ruin someone's entire career, let alone their life. And iron lungs, all of these were real things. And in the dance schools and in the schools, Black Detroit organized and got out the word about the importance and of measles, mumps, these early vaccines that came in the late 50s, the early 60s.
The sugar cube.
The sugar cubes.
Yes.
Exactly. So we need to also remember we've had to do that before because we have also had a lot of medical inequality, experimenting on us, persecutions. But we have a good history with vaccines. And we need to figure out, have this be our best practice in a shining moment, because this is how we will save our own lives and each other's lives. And we need to get together. And remember, we've done it before, we'll do it again. We did it with the measles, mumps, rubella. We did it with the polio. And we're gonna do it this time. I will say right now, I plan on being one that, as soon as I can get the vaccine, I plan on taking the vaccine. But in the interim, I am really thrilled of having that we're going to be able to kick off Black History Month in Detroit on February 1st with the mayor, because I want the whole country, I want the whole world giving Detroit its due for both this political moment now and this golden era that got erased. How we get erased, how our aesthetics get unacknowledged is something we got to contemplate and transcend. That's another trauma we've got to transcend. And how we get centered is by celebrating together, by reading, listening to our own music, watching our own art and the world's art. Because one of my biggest themes is how African all Americans are. Tallulah Bankhead is a white woman, is one of the saints. I invite everybody into the tent to sip from this common, strong, powerful Black Detroit cup of moving from trauma to transcendence, of being fair, of chin-up swagger, of self-defining, and doing what Lord George Richards did, listening to all of this language and not just privileging the language of the academy, but privileging the powerful language of the street and acknowledging that's what William Faulkner did too. His language is Black language. Like that's the most Southern white writer, but Faulkner's language was reappropriated Black language. It's time for us to give the people writing in that language as their first language their full due. And it couldn't happen without booksellers like you guys. And I'm just glad that we're gonna have a big old party. And remember, every chapter of this book does end with a libation. Some of them have alcohol in them, some of them don't, because the book is a 5 sense address to joy. The taste, touch, scent, sound, and sight of joy. And so my last one is, there's gonna be a secret cocktail that I'm gonna put up on your Facebook site. This is the Black Bottom Old Fashioned. I make the ice cube in advance, and it has the brown simple syrup and some bitters in it, all in advance. So all you have to do is pour your brown liquor over it, add your orange and lemon peel, and you have instant drinks all December. So things are easy for yourself. So I'm going to send you the recipe for that. So it'll be available at Source, if Source will post that for you. I'll put it on my Facebook. I want to say, because that is the sight, the scent, the touch, the taste of joy. And you wonder, what is the sound? And I'm going to, if I can find my little.
That's the sound. Thank you, Alice. Yeah, we have okay, so we have a few messages here. Thank you so much for this excellent program. This is coming from Audrey. We were thrilled to see Janet and Allison Turner on the PBS NewsHour. Thank you. If there had not been a pandemic, we would never have come across the wonderful online programs from Source Booksellers. So that is my silver lining from the COVID-19. Just hope we can still connect virtually after the pandemic, because I'm in Alexandria, Virginia, and have only been to Detroit once, 30 years ago. Got to get back here. We plan to put our money where our mouth is soon by buying some books from Source Booksellers. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Audrey. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. That's one thing about the virtual. It just reaches, it brings us so close together in the world, and we're reaching across all these lines, and not to do it in person is, it's just not in person, but we certainly virtually have been in touch with each other in ways that we never really thought about in the past. So I'm glad. So raise your voice, your glass and your voice, Alice.
Yay. And it's more intimate because we're in each other's houses.
That's right.
We're in each other's houses. And so I love this community. We are people, we're find a way and make a way people. And we've made a way to greater intimacy. I
Yes.
love what in the midst of this, we're getting closer.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you for your writing.
I'm also very excited that in February, we'll have different audiences. We'll talk about different saints and just celebrate everything
Yeah.
about the book. And if anyone is looking for the book or the cookbook, we will have it on Source Booksellers online.
Yay. Bye-bye.
We're on the phone too.
And they're on my website. You can go click directly to them.
Good.
And also on the website, blackbottomsaints.com, you can do a quiz and it'll tell you your saint. Isn't
And
that?
that's totally true. Which saint you need now? Because one of the fun things about this book is you don't have to start on page 1 and read all the way through. There are 61 chapters. Some of them are short as a page and a half. And you can dive in and just read one chapter, 1 page to 6 to 7 pages, and you get a full experience because everybody's really busy right now.
We love that. We love being able to dip in. Yeah.
So one more comment from Judy. Native Detroiter living near Boston. Really looking forward to reading about the history of my hometown I never knew. You will love this book.
Thank you, Judy.
Yay.
All right.
Take care.
I think we're right up on our hour. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We look forward to the future.
Joy is radical.
Joy is radical. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next